When most people think about investors, they imagine a transaction. You pitch, they write a check, and the deal is done. But the reality is that fundraising isn't a one time event, it's the start of a long term partnership, one that can last for years, sometimes decades. The money itself is important, of course, but it's only part of the story. What really matters is the relationship behind the money. Investors are partners in your journey, and the quality of your relationship with them often determines whether you succeed or struggle. Great investor relationships bring not just capital, but also wisdom, networks, and confidence. Poor relationships, on the other hand, can create tension, mistrust, and missed opportunities. Building and managing these relationships is a strategic skill every founder must master if they want to fuel sustainable growth. Investor relationships matter because they shape the trajectory of your company beyond the initial funding event. First, they are about ongoing partnership. Fundraising is not the end, it's the beginning. Investors who believe in you become allies through highs and lows, supporting you as the business evolves. Second, good relationships make future fundraising smoother. When investors trust you, they reinvest, they advocate to their peers, and they help you create momentum for subsequent rounds. This makes capital access more predictable, and it sends powerful signals to the market that you are a credible, trustworthy founder. Third, relationships go beyond capital. Investors can provide introductions to top talent, connect you with potential customers, and share insights from years of industry experience. In some cases, their advice and network are more valuable than the money they invested. Finally, strong relationships build long term alignment. Trust and transparency foster shared commitment. Instead of pulling in different directions, founders and investors work toward the same ambitious goals. Alignment makes the company resilient even in times of difficulty. The truth is simple: capital fuels growth, but relationships sustain it. The best time to start building investor relationships is long before you need money. Relationships built under pressure, when your runway is running out, rarely yield the best outcomes. The first step is to start early. Initiate conversations 6 to 12 months before your fundraising round. This allows time for trust to develop without the stress of immediate need. The second is to share your vision and progress regularly. Instead of waiting for a big pitch, keep potential investors in the loop with casual updates, new product milestones, market insights, or lessons learned. These communications demonstrate consistency and give investors confidence in your leadership. The third is to engage in the community. Attend demo days, pitch competitions, and founder meetups. Relationships often form in informal settings before they become formal partnerships. The more present you are in the ecosystem, the more natural it becomes to connect with investors. The fourth is to seek mentorship first. Instead of approaching investors only as sources of money, treat them as advisors. Ask for their perspectives, learn from their expertise, and demonstrate that you value their experience. When investors see you genuinely value their insight, they're more likely to back you financially when the time comes. A powerful pro tip: the best investor relationships often start as advisory relationships. They evolve naturally into investment partnerships once trust and respect are established. The foundation of a strong investor relationship is communication. Investors don't expect everything to go perfectly, but they do expect to be informed. The first best practice is to send regular updates. Monthly or quarterly reports establish a rhythm and show discipline. These updates don't have to be long, but they should be structured and consistent. The second is to include key metrics. Share the numbers that matter: revenue growth, customer acquisition costs, retention rates, burn rate, and runway. These metrics give investors confidence that you're tracking the right data and managing responsibly. The third is to practice honest reporting. Investors know startups are messy. If you try to hide problems, they will eventually find out. And when they do, trust is broken. Instead, communicate both successes and setbacks with transparency. The courage to share challenges builds credibility. The fourth is to build confidence through professionalism. Clear, consistent, and well organized updates demonstrate maturity as a leader. Even in hard times, professionalism reassures investors that you are steady at the helm. Remember, investors can forgive setbacks, but they can't forgive silence or dishonesty. Communication is how you earn continued support and credibility. Once the money is in the bank, the work of managing relationships truly begins. The first priority is strategic involvement. Use your investors wisely. Ask for introductions to potential hires, request help with customer connections, or seek advice on critical decisions. Investors want to add value. Give them the opportunity. The second is to establish clear boundaries. Investors provide guidance, but founders run the company. Board meetings should focus on strategy, not micromanagement. Structured agendas and professional consistency keep discussions productive. The third is to balance guidance with autonomy. The best relationships are those where investors give you space to innovate while providing essential input when needed. Over-involvement can stifle creativity. Under-involvement can waste expertise. Managing investor relationships well means walking the fine line between openness and independence. You're not just protecting your company, you're also showing that you know how to lead with confidence. Examples from the real world illustrate the power and the risks of investor relationships. Airbnb's relationship with Sequoia Capital is legendary. During its early struggles, Airbnb faced doubt and financial challenges. Instead of abandoning them, Sequoia doubled down, providing unwavering support. This trust, built through transparent communication, was one of the key reasons Airbnb survived and eventually thrived. Stripe, another startup giant, shows how investors can accelerate growth beyond money. Stripe strategically leveraged its investors' networks to expand internationally and achieve scaling milestones faster than competitors. The capital mattered, but the connections mattered even more. On the flip side, many startups have suffered from communication failures. When founders go silent during difficult times, investors lose confidence. This lack of trust makes follow-on funding difficult, and companies often stall as a result. Silence doesn't just weaken relationships, it can kill momentum. The lesson is clear. Relationships compound like capital. Trust and communication build over time, and the benefits multiply. Neglect them, and the consequences can be severe. At the heart of successful fundraising is not the money, it's the relationship. Investor relationships matter because they provide ongoing partnership, smooth future rounds, strategic support, and long-term alignment. They must be built early, nurtured through communication, and managed carefully after investment. The best practices are simple but powerful. Start conversations before you need money. Share vision and progress consistently. Engage authentically in communities, and value investors as mentors first. Communicate with honesty, include key metrics, and maintain professional consistency. After investment, leverage strategic input, but guard your autonomy. The real-world stories of Airbnb and Stripe remind us of what's possible when relationships are strong. Well, cautionary tales of failed communication warn us of the risks when they're not. The final takeaway is this: investor relationships are like compound interest. Small, consistent actions of trust, transparency, and communication grow into powerful partnerships that fuel long-term success. Treat them with care, and they will reward you for years to come.